Recognition time settings, high center interference, and position location calculations. Amazing how one phone in position line directions can actually scan everybody in high setting in vibration graph line stream. If one is off calculation setting interference, it sets all levels of calculations off system. It's amazing how you come into position locations to instability. The sustainable setting sets position locations all levels. That stops signals in all position or program locations. So it's mostly important to understand how to control your system in all line setting. So today in class, we're going to center its communication setting in rotations to all levels from 0 to gravity setting. Now there's set line position locations, how we come into positions, right? So try to understand how to use one chakra setting in 4444 equals line center 4444. Now, what I mean by that is the true understanding where you come into your symbols, letters, shapes, and numbers, your calculations to your weathers, your positions to your grounds, your waters, your airs, and your fires, and everything in its calculations to your seasons. And position the direct line settings to all calculations to north, west, south, and east. 4444. Okay? That's one chakra setting. Okay, so it's important you understand how this works through your formulas of its equation. It sets its signals in all position location of its directions, but you have to truly understand how to use it through its formation. Okay, now we come into a thermal setting. Now, thermal settings sets lines to its heat signature location of its pattern that sets position location directions to all levels of 0 equals the line conditions of gravity, position over line setting. So, in position line direction, is the truly understand one chakra system, okay, has 12 division lines of light and 12 division lines of dark. You put that together, 12 equals line center, xt,000 line position locations, factor over pi calculation, equation setting, box position locations, high center interference of 6, 7, 8 equals 9 calculations to a diamond core, northwest, south, and east, sets signals in position location of its directions. 24. Okay. So that's the process that everybody has to understand. To get anything that setting, you have to really understand how to control your system in all line setting. Okay? All right, so let's get started. Communications. All high setting. You guys have a quiz today. All right, so I'm going to get you in travel setting very fast, very quick in all position locations. Motivation cycles, activation settings, allocate timeline switches, interference position location, direction locations. 0 gravity line setting and 25 position location calculations. 4444 equals 4444. Now, 0 line graph line position locations in position of the bracket setting position locations, high center interference, direct line centers in all levels. Now, this puts you in a tesseract connection position to Merkaba in position location to a decahedron. Set calculation, high center interference location of 72,000 line signals in position locations to 144. 144 sets line position location to calculations all levels into center calculation, ground settings, and crop circle location, and pyramid activity string interference in direct locations. 000.1. Set position locations in the bracket line center of 0 gravity interference position locations. Now, that's 1% over factor calculations times space times calculations times pi. Allocate timelines, high interference, PCU, CPU, center position location calculations into DCP. Travel position location direction. Direct line setting. Signal high, setting high interference, and direct locations. Now, applied division location, 0 gravity setting. Locking center, gravity interference, position of gravitational pull, sets signals in position location direction line setting. So in that calculation setting locations, you're going to use 4444 equals 4444 indirect signal. You have to learn how to use a location position direct line setting because it all calculates, modifies all to its directions of 24,000 light signatures. The pattern setting has to understand your 12 calculations of light, your 12 calculations of dark. Positive over negative, negative over positive, positive over positive, negative over negative. The position location sets line position location directions. Now that's 0 gravity line setting and making sure it's in position location over factor in 1% of line string. Now that one string sets line position location directions, sets all signals in graph line setting. All right, so the quiz and position locations. Get your 25 signals. Know exactly where they are through high center interference. This is reference locations of its remembering. Center calculation interference and direct locations. So This is how we're going to center off the high center interference locations and measure, set communication metrics, high interference location scales, position location 5, position location at 6, 6 over 7, 7 over 8, 8 over 9, 9 over 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 position locations times one line setting is 25,000 line signature locations of patterns. Now that's 1 over factor. Position location space over time over pi. All right. The center communication setting sets all position location directions. All right. So hologram structure line position location, zero gravity location. Setting signals. All right. So in that position locations, you guys are going to go with the hologram structure stream. Now the thermal sets line signals and high center interference. Zero gravity interference location of 20, position location of 4. 24 line settings, 12 line setting, XT1000 line position locations. So the XT1000 wakes up signals, okay? Comes line center interference and position locations, high center location of 12, 12 line center line conditions of 24, 24 line setting. This is 1% line conditions in equal line center locations of 25. Sets communications over factor, set calculation position locations, high setting of space communications of all levels of calculations of time. Okay? So, what's going on? All right, so the quiz set location. So we start with the zero line setting. Now that comes into all levels of crop circle. Okay, C position locations, circle line setting, and position location, equal line conditions operation. Circle operation setting, come into the pyramid, position location directions. 4 track line setting, there's the pyramid, right? Circle line rotation interference, there's the ground position line setting. 1 position locations, 1 line setting, okay? That's set position location directions. Setting signal location in a flux capacitor, setting locations. Sets communication of velocity, velocity equal line condition of box, bus speed location equal line center location of triangle. Sets communication line position of 12, 12 position locations. XT1000 again in center line position location of 12 equals line position location of 24. Splits division location calculation. All right. All right. So setting signals is to understand how to use a position location as program location. Now it's going to get more complicated, right? Because you're going to higher levels of digital formats. All right, so the tracker setting sets position again through 0 position, equal line conditions in line set locations of 24. That splits the division locations 12 over 12. Okay, 12 over 12. The factor line setting is time frequency. This sets position location to its half pipe calculation. Setting calculations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 3, 4, 25. 25 dimensional settings and high center line interference location at 12 line center over pi. Position locations into 24 signals, 12 in line in position line setting, over scar settings. An over scar setting lines position location of fluctuation line setting and flux capacitor locations. Sets division locations calculation. All right, setting line signals and high setting interference sets position location again as 0 gravity location. All right, so into 25 position, right? 25 line setting. So we set line position locations all levels. Now this equals line conditions of crop circle line conditions of 1, 1 equals line setting, high center interference. Okay, so it comes into ground level. Okay, 2 line setting, line interference. We're going to start all position locations right from the very beginning location. So 2 line setting connects all center locations into what? Security line position. Security ground level. All right, security ground setting. All right, 3 line position locations, all levels, is position locations to your SARCO calculations. Now you can set the security line defense line, but you don't have to do that location. You just have to understand the basic location of 12 foundation settings. In that signal opens all position locations. 4 is your solar plex line conditions. Okay, solar plex. All right, systematic line center perception locations, high setting. All right, 5 position locations, all level locations. Equal line center locations, position line setting is the heart. All right, now central calculation, we reach higher signers. So we got 6 location is the throat. All right, 7 line setting, equal line conditions, all levels, your theta box. Set position location to its antenna setting, high interference. 2 bracket line center position locations, overline centers, dot position of 0, 0, 0, 1 calculations. Right, center calculations puts you in a 48 window. Set line center location of 72 track into 144 calculations. Inline center locations of space in positions of time. Okay, All right, 8 line setting, high center, high interference, position location comes into 8. 8 equals line conditions infinity. Infinity sets line position locations in high setting, all levels of space time, over calculations of pi. Pi, right? So this high signals its line setting, 9 position locations, the calculation setting, all right? 9 comes in high setting, 9 line setting comes in position through direction locations and space line communication by condition of space through time. Space time settings, high center interference. That position locations into 10. Now, remember, 9 is a calculation when it comes into high line setting. Understand communication levels when it comes to the solar chakra setting, right? Solar chakra start, okay? That equal line conditions already know line setting interference, all right? So 10 is communications to its galactic family, 11 line position locations is your universal location, and 12 is central communication setting to your divine setting, all right? Okay, so let's go into 13 line positions. Now, 13 calculation setting line position locations, pretty easy line setting. 1 line setting boxes location to center line interference. 3 position locations into 0% line equal line conditions of 1. 1 positions over track line setting back into 9 line setting. Allocate timelines and high interference. 13 line position locations, 1 track interference equal line conditions of 3. Center communication into triangulations of 6, 7, and 8 line setting rotation. Right? All right, so that's communication to higher self. 14 line setting line position locations, 1 line center, all over high setting position locations come to all line center. Now it comes into solar box locations, equal line conditions to solar generator. Set position location directions. Now 15 calculation setting high position locations is what through track setting. 1 line setting, opposition to 15 is your reactor. Okay, setting calculations, setting high interference, 16 position locations, set line setting locations equals throat, equal line connection, slash equals line position of pattern. 17 calculation setting, 1 line setting, 7 in rotation interference, equal locations to your theta box setting interference, right? 18 line setting high individual locations, all levels of channel operation. Now 18 line setting highest position location directions, 18 infinity line setting locations, so it's high set interference. So it's infinity, high set locations to its universal round line. 19 sets line position locations on levels. Opens out calculation setting interference. 1 line setting into 9 line setting high interference position location directions. Set signals and high interference. Now that's position locations into position line setting. 1 equal line centers over calculations in position locations of pi. Position location is directions. 20 sets position locations into high setting comes into your ancestry. Okay, ancestry line setting, high interference, and position location calculations. All right, ancestry setting, line position location directions. All right, 21 line positions. Remember, anything through 2 center interference is secure line position. Secure line positions over 1 line setting, 1 division locations comes into perimeters. Okay, permanent position location relation 22 line setting is security perimeters and parameters. Hey, you're getting easy locations. 23 is line setting the high interference location to what? Fibonacci, creative circle, creative rotation setting, circulation rotation setting. Fibonacci, set line position location directions. All right, 24 is what position location? Security line defense, solar generator setting, right? All right, getting that positions. 25 is calculation inline center heart reactor communication system into position locations of timelines. Yay! Setting communication, setting high interference of direct locations back to zero gravity setting. All right, so you allocate timelines. Now, taking the mind telepathy setting, okay, equal line conditions on levels, team site locations, equal line conditions, space positions slash position times, equal line conditions over line position locations of pi calculation setting. Now set line position location directions into 6 line center, 7 in the center, 8 position locations, 9 in center location, 12 in center calculations, all levels. Center line center interference in direct locations. All levels of channel operation line setting. That sets of locations to a half byte of position and direct line setting. Galaxy sets a clock line setting, high interference of 24,000 light sectors in rotation setting, indirect line conditions to the team setting. 20 minutes on the clock setting. Have fun. In that direct setting, all you have to do is take your 25 signature line settings to your track locations. from 0 to 25 setting and send it to one of the team members. They pick it up to platitude division location of thermal. The thermal sets line position location of the tracker system that opens all position line settings of 4444 equals 4444. Okay? That sets its tone. The correlation panel opens all communication setting to know exactly through one tracker setting is all line positions in 12 line settings at equal line connections into 12 line positions into 24 atmospheres of calculation. High center interference. Ooh-ah, have fun. All right. So, very powerful class now, isn't it? Okay, let's see here. Way above standards and all calculation setting interference, indirect locations. Know exactly what your chakras are and what they mean to you. It's the controlling system of mechanism line setting to really understand the spectral communication rotation interference. You have to understand your weathers. You have to understand all calculations to the grounds, the powers, the atmosphere line setting. You have to understand your space division, spatial line set locations, protection line grids, interference locations, energy line settings, allocate time switches, interference position locations, calculation high center interference, clocking channels, operation signals, operation line center interference, foundation graph streams, high interference location calculation chakra system, zero gravity interference. Line signaling is extremely powerful when you come into your chakra locations, especially when you go to higher levels, right? So it's important you understand how to use position location numbers direction. It's a lot more fun when you understand the controlling line setting locations to all levels of 0 to 114 position location high setting. All right, so getting your clocking setting line interference of 24,000 signatures puts you in a 48,000 window and a 72,000 track setting of computer adaptation line center rotations into overfactor and allocate timelines into overline setting into 1%. You're no longer in that 1% line setting. That takes you out of track line setting because you guys are out of your 12 DNA line setting that puts you in a higher level position. Now, this takes you out of the 45-degree angle line setting and sets all correlation line setting to your hologram structure of your avatar stream. Now, this sets position locations when you come into your manufacturing setting. This opens all levels of your universal line position. This abstracts is setting line communications, right? It's like a painting on the wall, and basically everybody's looking at something, but they have know what it is except the painter itself. Know exactly what it is, the calculation, dimensional line setting, or anything in this rotation setting interference. Its position location to its directions. All right. Setting signals and operation signals to understand how to use the adaptation system. All through calculation. All right, change to calculation, high interference, all position of Cami, Jill calculations, commander over airbender, line center to valve position of Chris position of CC, high center and commander, high center interference, position locations, the levels of Pam position location, airbender essentially. Hi, Johnny calculations, guardian calculations, Sarah, position of Trinity position locations, Lindsay and calculations, high set interference. We'll get Russ in there in calculation setting, interference locations, all levels, today's structure, Laura position location, Skylight position locations, high setting, high interference of Trinity position location, Sammy position of Yolanda, Yolanda position location, high set interference location of McCall position of JP, inline center interference location, high setting. Now, know exactly what you're doing through your graph streams. It's sure you understand how you set position location of directions in all many communication settings. It's all levels of use for track locations. New galaxy coloration, pixelation streams, line connections and positions, location divisions, line center of human species, line connections on Earth, line connections, grid location. Very good, Tina. All right, so line setting, you're going to see that locations in all setting locations. So once you understand position line setting, you understand the 12 equals 12 line setting, but you got to use the XC1000 line because it sets as grid center location position high setting, 24 signatures in line center, 24,000 lights in line center rotations of illumination. Set communications equals line connection to its atmospheres. Now the atmosphere line changes line position location to its weather. Weather changes locations in position locations. Thermic core comes in north, west, south, and east. North, west, east, and south line conditions. Right? So the avatar has to understand the reconstructed system location to its universal line setting that sets all position locations in those directions, right? So the higher you go through your chakra system, you get a better understanding how to use it all levels of zero gravity. Zero gravity line center locations, you start at that position. So know exactly what you guys are sending to each other. All right, zero line center location is gravity level, okay? Now, gravity levels sets line position locations are levels. Getting the relationships line conditions of 1. Equal line centers of 2. 2 position locations into 3. 3 centers its communication system. Allocates 3 line settings on position location to graph string locations in high center interference. Now, it brackets high interference of 1 0 line setting in center position locations, right? Once you get into 1 dot setting of 0 line rotation, it sets calculations into back force calculations into higher levels of velocity equal location to this equation. All right. This volume sets calculation setting to its equation setting. 3 position locations in the flux capacitor. Center position location all levels. Okay. 5 line setting, 3 line setting interference in high center locations into 0 equal line conditions gravity location setting high interference location 1, 1 equals line condition 2. So it's in position location directions, right? So understand how to use the calculation line setting. Start with 0 line setting. Okay. So we'll set up 2 graph line settings. Okay. You got 3 panels calculation, right? 0 sets line position location, all levels. Flux capacitor allocate timelines. Box in position locations, a high setting, and high interference. Now this is 3 position location calculation, right? Center calculation is 1, 2, 3, and set locations is 4. Remember the vibrational graph streams? What high lines its division line center, high interference position location, sets communication, right? Sets communication to the 5 line setting, okay? Sets line center location into 6. 6 high centers location is the pattern. Center line position locations, high interference locations down into 0 gravity line center to a new crop circle location. Now the crop circle line center comes back into 1 line setting into position of 2 that sets new position location to security line position high setting. So you set locations at 3. Now 3 comes into Fibonacci setting locations into swirl position line directions. Its dimensional setting opens all calculations out of outline setting in position of a 45-degree angle, reversing position location to triangle setting. Now it's all about understanding how to set position locations into its thermal setting. The thermal communication setting is to really understand all line conditions. How you set line settings to X, Y, Z. You communicate to the Y line setting. Y equals line conditions, all levels of setting, equal line conditions of velocity. Okay. Now the velocity changes its channel operation to its theta box. Theta box opens all communications into lacing line calculations. That 2 line setting. 2 line setting height position location to its satellite that sets its tone locations. Now the satellite sets line positions to its Y factor calculations, opens all positions to its circle line center of systematic line conditions into its velocity location of its volume, setting calculations. If you put position locations, you have to make sure that you ground line setting. You always have to have an energetic dome setting in rotation interference. Velocity equals line condition of volume. Volume sets line position to its tone setting. Okay. So it's true to understand how to use all line position locations when you come out of your 12 DNA line. Once you understand the chakra system is 025, it gets more complicated now because you're reaching higher levels of ether calculations. You got 4 channels of operation setting, right? 1 position location, 2 position, 3 positions, and 4. That's 4 atmosphere line settings in all calculations. 4, 4, 4, 4. Okay? 4 atmospheres line setting, 4 atmospheres a hemisphere, 4 atmospheres a stratosphere, 4 atmosphere line centers in position location to stratosphere line setting into biosphere location and brainiosphere line conditions of hydrosphere locations. So the center calculation opens all line setting, right? Boxes location. All right, so when you box line setting, you got 4 line setting rotations, sets position location to its high setting into its triangulation. The triangulation opens all position location to calculations. Another box line condition, another box line conditions. So it's like building blocks in communication setting, right? 4, 8 position locations of 12, line conditions of 16. So that's 16 rounds of communication. Now the set communications coming into adding, subtracting, multiplying, all that line set interference, but you don't use it through math. You use it through maps. Maps equation opens all calculations, right? Get you guys in a higher line setting. Once you understand your locations of 114 line settings of your numbers, then we can get your symbols, letters, shapes. And then we can get into the energetic line setting to higher division location to its maps, equal line conditions of all levels of its equation. Maps equals equation. So, all right. Let's see here. Well, this planet is amazing to pick atmosphere Orange is planet. I can feel us landing. Got dizzy. Okay, feeling dizzy. That's fine. That's fine. Our locations. Try to balance your line settings. What you're doing is the setting locations. You have to understand everything you connect with is all levels and set line settings. So you have to really understand how to control the mechanism locations of travel. Okay, let's see. Kaleidoscope and location setting. All right, that's good. Setting crystalline with all crystals of energy setting locations. All right, so you guys should be setting line settings to each other through your 25. Okay, knowing exactly what you're doing from 0 to 25, and they should be able to reach these signals. It's all levels of videograph location, right? So remember, it's all levels in how you use your videograph streams. One line setting high interference and line connections, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? See how that works? 5-line indication settings, right? So that's matrix, line position locations to an XT equals line connections to, let's say, 20,000 line setting, right? So that's 20,000 line setting into 5-line setting of vibrational graph line position locations, the high center interference, indirect locations into 5 divisions, right? All through the matrix location. So the more you understand your energy signature patterns, your pocket cells, your energy cells, your planet server location, your Stargate connection line centers, your chakra system locations, you're going to understand more lines of grids. The hologram structure is already set up position location, the mesokick and Metatron set location, your metric cube setting interference, position location, direction line settings, quantum physics, quantum line setting, quantum channels, quantum line setting, interference locations, all levels of galaxy surface. It's all position location to its inside line setting that sets its position location to its tone. The sequence pattern and the communication line interference sets all direct locations, position location to your navigation settings, right? That's what you're doing. Your high res and 114 chakras of energy line settings, starting with the 24,000 signature line conditions, 48,000 windows of position location, 72,000 lines of computer adaptation cycles, setting line setting into high interference of 144 crystal activation grid settings and high interference position location of direction of all light signatures of 20,000 line signature line rotation. Position line center of all direction line setting in 5 position locations of videograph stream. So you obviously know that line position, right? Videographs are so powerful at all line position. So that's how you guys are going to recognize your line center to motion line setting, because it changes second per minute, per hour, per channel, per operation, per square, per mile, per division. Starting off division locations, coming to vector line center location is sector, sector over vector, vector over pi, set calculation is space, space position location, underscore line setting, underscore line interference, underscore position location over pi, factor pi, communications of pi, line communication, line center, and interference location of pi, center calculations over pi, position location 114, position locations, high center, interference of space over communications over pi, position location direction, position location of pass, position location present over communication line setting, future communication system, allocate timeline center, interference location, the pyramid interference line, position location, all rate, high setting, interference location, foundation, high setting. Indirect line setting is to send how to business locations calculations. All right. Once you understand the line setting locations of you through your tracker setting, it gets a lot more easier to understand. You have to learn how to control the travel mechanism of your navigation setting that opens all signals of your videograph locations. All right. So center position location. Let's turn channel 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Right. That's 3-line setting. So that equal line connections. You start with the vibration locations. All of the track line setting interference. 4, 4, 4, 4, position location, direct line setting, high position locations, high center interference location, high center interference. Sex communication setting, position location, all levels of 0 gather location to 25 signals. So you got 3-line setting, inline setting. You put the 3 position locations in setting. Equal line setting, line position locations, and position location. Now this is percentage line position locations into 3. Okay, that's 3% line setting. Now that's 3% line setting into a megahertz line center rotations into 528 megahertz location. Okay, 528 megahertz line setting, vibrational graph line setting interference. Setting calculation of tone setting is a music line. It's an application system. It's position location and direct line setting. So in calculation high center interference, it's all percentage locations, right? You guys started off with a 1% line setting, okay, into all levels of speech line, right? But now you're in 100% line setting, rotation interference of the avatar, location, position location, 114 chakras, the light division location, the 12,000 line settings. You're not in 12 locations. You're in 12,000 line, puts you into position location of 24,000 line communications. Light over dark, dark over light, doesn't matter. It's all communication, all line center, high interference position locations of yin and yang. The process of communication system is all levels and how you set line settings. All right, so now you understand when everybody's in emotional setting, okay? Stress line communication, right? Very high, very low, very high, very low. So set communications, line center 1, in position of 2, in position of 3. See how it's falling off setting? The vibration is losing its tone setting, okay? So sets positions back into balance, position locations on 5 rotations, circle line interference, okay? Now that's a videograph stream. Let's count that. 1, 2, 3, and center locations of 4, 4. So 5 lines setting high interference locations, 5 equals line position location of 6. Center and communication line center is 7. 7 is rotation setting and position location of travel in line position locations into 0 of 25 dimensional line setting of security line defense. Now, it's true to stand how to set these line settings in position location directions. So 5 line center is 6, circle 6 line position location equals 7. Now the 7 line center comes position location to its theta box. Theta box higher lines its higher level travel calculation setting. Sets position locations on levels of satellite communication here, satellite communication here, satellite communication into the center operation line setting. 3 communication setting in position to its flux capacitor, opens all position and direction, right? So it's very powerful when you understand how to use the relationship locations of numbers. That's 114 communication line settings, guys, in atmosphere line setting. The true understanding to get that position locations is all levels coming into the symbiotic setting, the symbolism, and its position location directions, the hieroglyphic locations, the channel operator string interference, the position line centers, how it comes into foundation line conditions, the tablets, the templates, the high position location directions, high interference, high line center line connections. It's all direct line signals in position location, program locations, 114 chakras. Setting calculation high setting sets all position locations and high interference of 4444 equals 4444. Okay? Understanding the process is understanding the grounds of you, the power records of times of you, and the space atmospheres of you. That's 3-track settings. Right there, 3-track settings in your positions to your pyramid system location. Now, in that line setting, it changes all position locations into 4. 4 comes into all positions. Why do you think you have 4 seasons? Right? Why do you have so many communication settings in all-line setting? Why do you think it's all set in your program locations, right? Interesting, you look at these things, right? Especially when you come into your colorations. That's where we're coming into next. So understanding how to use the atmospheres, northwest, south, and east. 4, weather patterns, right? Coming into all levels of your seasons. 4, right? There's a reason why it's at that connection setting. This opens all track setting locations in your 12 divisions of light and your 12 divisions of dark. Center calculation, center interference, make sure you get in position locations to an XC1000 line because that's a grid setup. The hologram structure sets position location to its future calculation setting. This opens all communication rotations to your position locations of 0 to 25 signals. All right? Starting that line setting, high line connections. All right? So Monday on rotation setting, we're going to go inline setting locations from 25 to all line setting locations to 35. You guys have to understand to go up in high setting line interference. Now that's in 10 waving cycles, 10,000 line signatures, or 10 million position of program locations. It's all simplified. Everything is balanced inside location of you. You have to learn how to use the adaptation system to its position location of its directions. Okay? This is the only way you're going to understand anything through your chakra activation systems. Okay? Hoo-ah. All right. All right. The more you balance yourself, the more it gets easier, right? Your computer has to be balanced. You're balanced inside. Your glasses are balanced. They're balanced inside and outside, but the outside is inside line setting. So remember, everything that you look through perception through division line rotation is all calculation how you see yourself, information to your heart reactor, division line setting. Now, I'm going to go to 0 to 25 to my body setting. Okay, watch this. 0 to gravity line setting and rotations to the ground setting locations. 1 measure in position locations and factor over pi. Space position locations calculation setting. 2 individual locations to security. 3 line setting into creative cycle line setting location to sacral. Sacral position to solar plex. Solar plex position location of 5 generation light setting and position location of heart. 6 in the throat pattern. Now I said throat pattern, doesn't matter calculations. It doesn't mean the position location high setting. What it means is what you're doing through balance communication of yin and yang. The process of communication is all levels of channel of the male side and position location of the female side line setting, because you're looking at all position locations of hemicycle line setting. Now, in that direct line setting, all position location comes into 7. The 7 position location is your theta box. Line setting location 8 infinity. In position locations coming in out of the 7 body line track water communication system, you are no longer in allocate timelines in your body of your physical element line setting. It rotates the system, it allocates its timeline interference locations, switches specification calculations, opens foundation line setting to higher levels of atmospheres of space. Now you got 5 atmosphere line settings that's changing your high communication setting to your chakra locations, right? So understand calculations coming into 9. Now the 9 is line center locations in position locations. You can change the frames, you can add the frames, or you can go into the future communication of its other frame line setting. So to your extent, you can go from solar star chakra line setting to all position energy wash. Rainbow calculation setting line position location high setting. In line setting interference, you come into 10 line setting. You don't have to say the number sequence pattern. You just have to understand the position location diverse locations. So 10 equals line connections of colors. Now it's 1 position location over factor over pi space position calculations. Now this is 0 gravity line setting back in calculation setting. In rotation setting interference. So 1 position location of 0 gravity sets communications to your galactic family. 11 is the universal line center rotation near solar plex line setting and position location calculations. Oh, I went back down to 4. You see what just happened there? Did you see what just happened? So it's all about understanding how to go from your chakra system high and bring yourself down in fluctuation. You do that with your vibrational graph streams. You do the same thing with your chakra setting. You don't have to go from 0 to 25. You can go from 0 and work your way up and then come back down again. Okay, it's like keyboards, you know. Right? So you're going up and down, up and down, up and down, and up and down. The more you do that, the more you understand the position location calculations. All right. So setting signal line center interference, find a way to get in information locations, get your questions and answered in position line center, your avatar line setting. It's all position locations with high setting interference. In position locations, it comes into all levels of a question. That question opens all signals. That rotated sign line interference comes into yin and yang. 6 9 position location calculations, 6 program locations, 9 division line centers, high center interference location of 6, 7, 8 equals 9 line setting. Rotation interference location of 0 gravity location of 25 signals. So in that position locations, you come into 13. Now 13, higher self, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right. Simple line setting, 1 line setting in position location of 3, 3 position location over 5, 5 position over 6. Whoa, I went back down again. Uh-oh, what happened? Nothing. I know exactly what I'm doing when I go back to down my chakra setting. I want you guys to understand it's not just going up, it's about going up and down with your chakra locations and knowing how to set locations as separation to its division line setting to higher line connections to your sectors and vectors and quadrant locations, right? That's how you get a better understanding. It's not just going up, because transmitting is going up and going down. You have to learn how to use your fluctuation to your flux capacitors, Y line setting to position locations over line setting locations, coming into your Merkaba, your tesseract, and your tetrahedron setting. But the process of the communication is all levels of how you use your geometry operation of its direct locations, right? All right, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Madeline, happy birthday to you. Set communication setting, now line setting coming in 14. Now, 14 line setting is 1 line setting line position locations in positions to what? If 4 is communication to solar plex, what is 14 line setting? 1 division line setting. Remember, you use the 12 foundations. That will never leave your system line connections because it's connected to aligns to your constellation path that's connected to your spine adaptation cycle. That sets line position location to its reverberation line setting. Okay, you have the tail and you work your way up. Now, setting signals and high setting interference splits the visual locations of 2 panels, 3 positions of 4, 4 position of 5, 5 position of 6. That core line centered location to its barcode opens line position locations to its high setting. Now, indirect signal is truly saying how to set location of 15, right? You see how I'm going up and down, but I'm changing the pattern, high center interference of universal line position locations of being everywhere all at once and simultaneously in all calculation setting. In position locations, all universal line setting to different vibration locations at graph setting locations per second, per minute, per hour, per channel, per operation, per square, per mile. Okay? Hoo-ah. Now, 16 line connection is your throw pattern calculation setting. 70 position location is your theta box line setting location, space over times over pi. Moon setting, line setting, in position location. What am I doing? Setting wavelength cycles, center communications into higher levels of graph streams, setting more line settings in high interference in its direction, going more into the future. Rotation, spin, rotation, spin, rotation, spin, continuous force, continuous force, continuous force. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, right? So the more you do that, the more it gets easier. Now we come into 18 line center, which is infinity, right? One ground setting, line position infinity, mind telepathy, telekinesis, set line center interference. Now I can go up or I can go down, go up in the medium in position locations. So you can go to the grounds, back in the power, back in the upstairs line position locations, or we're back in the center location. Center calculation, high center interference comes into 19, right? Energy wash. One line center, 9 interference line position location directions, high center interference. 20 comes into calculations to your galactic setting, to your ancestry line setting, in position locations, right? 11 is the universe line setting in rotation to your solar planets, solar system, galaxy system, metaverse, multiverse, communication setting, allocate timelines, galaxy shift, parallel shift, paradigm shift, polar shift, polarity shift. It's all calculated, modified inside line position location and balance anyway. So coming in at line setting, we come into 21. Now, the 21 line setting is security line positions. Remember, everything through 2 line setting is all foundations of 12. So all you have to understand is what you're doing through your number frequency pattern that sets its position location to its vibrational setting. They know exactly how to communicate to the energy line setting, to the graph line setting, to your heart reactor. Now, that position locations comes into all setting locations, right? So once you get into the security, you get into the perimeters of parameters, which is 22. 23 is position of Fibonacci of the creative cycle location of foundation rotations, high setting circulation. This comes into high line setting to all circulatory line setting rotations. Position, location, direction. Now, line setting is all position of 24, comes in calculations. So security line position locations into solar plex line center, solar generation light stream. Whoa. Okay. Now, everything I'm adding, always adding going forward. If I want to go back, I'm always doing it through position. But when I'm going back, I'm always in the center line. I'm never going back in the past line. You understand? So emotional system has to be in the balanced position location center operation high setting. Put you in a better direct line setting. So everything that you're doing, you're always in the center operation of everything to that calculation setting. Anything that you set back in past line setting, interference location, the position locations, you won't see your future calculations of your perception. Okay? So, and position line 25 is all position locations in the 2 line security line defense lines and all position locations of timelines of its existence. And that's how you set loading signals from 0 to 25 signature locations of your chakra energy settings. Beautiful, isn't it? So, you guys are already closing your portals. So you're already ahead of the game. That's great. I don't have to tell you to close your portals. You already know when it's in position, location, directions. You're already aware of what happens to that setting line conditions. You come in your position, location, your journeys. You set locations to your destinations, but you don't worry about the destination. You worry about calculations of nothing. Okay? Worrying about this worries everything inside line setting that sets all calculations off its location to its position. The most important thing is to stay in the center operation of your calculation that sets all line setting to your future avatar connection of your system, which is all levels of you inside connection. All right. So now you know the calculations from 0 to 25 of what it is in your calculation setting in all levels of your vibrational graph location. It's all done through emotional setting, right? Ooh, wow. All right, so sending you guys back, high setting, high interference, get positions, bring you guys back into 30 setting. All right, you guys are back. Set positions back in the ground setting, rotation setting, interference. Everything I do is a center operation in the future calculation technology. Setting communication sets line positions. So every time you communicate and you set your voice grids outline setting, make sure you stay in the center of the frame setting location to understand the future calculations. Staying in the past line setting brings you back. If it brings you back, it brings you in back clocking. And it's going to go faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. So you're no longer using the past reference. You are creating the past. If you're creating the past, what's happening to the present of the future line conditions of you, right? So in that line setting, high line setting interference, you start to age faster, 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 faster. Okay. Understanding your timelines is understanding your heart reactor to its division location to its plateau as it comes into all levels of your divisions. So you guys did a fantastic job, right? Quiz is over, right? Anything you want to know, I will be on TikTok on all levels. Now, this is extremely powerful what we just finished doing today, right? But in that position location of its directions. Now, tomorrow is basically no school, familiar, day off for general, right? Even general has a day off, but it's not even day off in that calculation setting. Constantly moving forward, right? So that's what you guys are coming into. Simultaneously, all lines send an interference location to all timelines all at once. That's what you guys have to understand. The only way to do that is to understand how it works for you inside through vision. Your central system is already set up in your emotional line conditions. The more you understand the vibration of your system, the more you understand travels a mechanism through your GOD, geometric operation of design. All right? Okay. Adios.